Dear, welcome tonight in this bedtime history, the forgotten city beneath the sanded sky. It is said that beneath the endless, undulating dunes of the great desert, where the wind whispers secrets older than time itself, there lies a city. Once, it was more than a place. It was a crossroads where worlds converged, a sacred space, kissed by the soft gleam of starlight, where traders from distant lands, pilgrims on spiritual journeys, and travelers from unknown realms gathered beneath a sky that seemed to cradle the earth in its eternal embrace. Now, the city sleeps beneath the sands, its heart still beating in the quiet rhythm of forgotten days. But it is not truly gone. No, it only rests, as if waiting for the moment when its name will once again be spoken, when its gates will open to the sky, when its mysteries will be revealed to those who dare to seek. The air is thick with silence as we stand on the edge of the desert, gazing out over the golden sea of shifting sand. It is dusk, the time when the earth seems to hold its breath, when the stars begin to twinkle faintly above, casting their first whispers of light upon the horizon. Here, the sand stretches endlessly, undisturbed and ancient, each grain a witness to a story lost to time. And beneath the layers of dust, buried deep in the earth's embrace, the forgotten city waits, its stones crumbling and worn by centuries of neglect, yet still standing as fragments, broken columns that rise from the sand like ancient sentinels, their once proud forms now fractured and fading. Some believe that these ruins are the last echoes of a civilization lost to time, a people whose legacy remains only in whispered legends. The city was once a beacon, they say, where the stars above met the earth below, a place where celestial and earthly forces intertwined in perfect harmony. The gates of the city were said to glow softly at night, kissed by the starlight, as if the heavens themselves were inviting those who entered to join in their eternal dance. And yet, now all that remains are half-buried walls, fragments of stone that murmur in the wind, and the faintest traces of the voices that once filled this place, now carried away on the wind to the farthest corners of the earth. As the sun dips lower and the sky turns a dusky blue, we begin to move forward, our steps slow and deliberate, the sand shifting beneath our feet with each soft movement. The air here is thick, almost heavy with the weight of time, and as we walk deeper into the heart of the city, the silence presses in on us. It is not an empty silence, but a silence filled with echoes faint, distant sounds that seem to rise from the very ground beneath us, like the soft hum of an ancient song, a melody long forgotten, but not entirely lost. We pass under the remnants of what once were grand arches, their stonework still beautiful, though weathered by the relentless hands of time. Each step we take seems to draw us deeper into a dream, where the line between the past and present blurs. The city breathes with us, as if it remembers the stories of those who once walked these streets. Here, beneath the veil of sand, the walls seem to murmur, their faded carvings telling stories that only the desert knows, stories that are hidden beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to emerge. It is said that the city was built upon sacred ground, where the stars themselves seemed to touch the earth. The people who lived here believed that the heavens were not distant or cold, but a part of their lives, that they walked in the shadow of the stars, guided by their light. The gates of the city, once magnificent, were adorned with celestial symbols, their shapes worn but still recognizable, a map to the stars that could only be read by those who understood the ancient language of the sky. And though the city has long since faded, some say that if you listen closely enough, you can still hear the soft murmur of the stars, their voices carried on the wind, telling the stories of those who came before. But now, the city is nothing more than a whisper in the dust. The wind has carried away the memories, the names, the faces, until nothing remains but the faintest traces of what was. Still, beneath the silence, there is a pulse, a rhythm that hums quietly beneath the surface of the earth, as though the city is not truly gone, but merely sleeping, waiting for the right moment to awaken. And in this stillness, we are reminded of the delicate dance between memory and time, and of the way that cities, like people, sometimes fade into the shadows, not because they cease to exist, but because they are forgotten, lost beneath the sands of time, hidden in the folds of history. As we walk deeper, the ruins begin to open up before us, revealing wide plazas and broken walls that once supported great structures. In the soft glow of twilight, the city's contours take on a dreamlike quality. The columns, though cracked and worn, still stand tall, rising from the sand like ancient guardians, their once pristine surfaces now covered in the soft dust of the ages. The wind stirs the sand around our feet, carrying with it the faintest scent of earth and stone. And in that moment, we feel the presence of those who once lived here, their stories lingering in the air, their lives echoing in the stones that surround us. And as the night deepens, the city seems to shift before our eyes, its forms becoming less clear, more shadowed, until we are no longer sure if we are walking through a memory or through a place that exists only in the space between dreams. The stars above us twinkle faintly, their light spilling softly over the ruins, casting long shadows that stretch across the sand, stretching toward the horizon, toward the forgotten corners of the earth. Perhaps it is not the city that has disappeared, but our ability to remember it. Perhaps it has always existed in the silence, waiting for those who are willing to listen, those who can hear the faint whispers carried by the wind, who can feel the pull of the stars beneath the surface of the earth. The city, like the stars themselves, may never fully fade. It may simply slip into the quiet spaces, hidden in the dust, waiting for the veil of time to thin, for the memory to rise once more. And as we stand in the midst of these ruins, beneath the vast expanse of the desert sky, we are left with one thought. How do we awaken a place that never truly left, but only slept? Perhaps it is not through action, but through quiet remembrance, through the gentle act of listening. The city, like all things lost to time, may not be gone, but simply waiting to be found by those who still seek the stories hidden in the dust. And in the silence of the desert, we are left to wonder what secrets are etched in the sand, waiting for the right moment to rise, once the veil of memory thins. The gaze that never left the sky. There are places on this earth where the horizon seems to stretch infinitely, where the land becomes one with the sky, and the heavens themselves appear closer than ever. High upon a forgotten mountain, where the wind is still and the stars shine with a clarity lost to the lowlands, there lies an ancient observatory. It is said that this place was built to gaze not just at the stars, but to understand the very pulse of the universe, to hear the song of the cosmos as it reverberated through the earth. Even now, as the night begins to settle over the land, the observatory stands, its stone pillars reaching toward the heavens like ancient arms, still yearning for the answers the stars may hold. The journey to this mountain is long, a climb that winds through valleys and forests, through rivers that echo the silence of the earth. With each step, the air grows thinner, the land more barren, and the sense of distance from the world below deepens. The night feels heavier here, the sky growing darker, as though the mountain itself is holding its breath in anticipation. The stars, as if waiting for us to arrive, seem to shine brighter, more luminous, their light sharp against the vast expanse of the sky. There is something sacred about this place, something ancient that resonates with the very pulse of the earth. The observatory comes into view as the moon rises higher, casting its pale light upon the stone structure. It is not a grand building, but it is imposing in its simplicity. The stone walls are cracked with age, their surface worn smooth by centuries of wind and time. The observatory's dome, though no longer adorned with the intricate carvings that once filled it with celestial meaning, still stands tall against the night sky. Here, the ground beneath us is sacred, filled with the echoes of the seekers who once stood on this very spot, their eyes turned upward to the heavens. What were they searching for? What truths did they believe could be found only by lifting their gaze to the stars? As we step closer, the air grows stiller, heavier with the weight of centuries. The observatory seems to breathe with the rhythm of the earth, its stones holding within them the stories of the past, stories of those who once came here to look beyond the world they knew, to seek the wisdom of the stars. Inside, the observatory is empty, its once vibrant instruments now rusted and silent, their purpose long since forgotten. Yet there is a feeling here, in the stillness, that the observatory itself is alive, its ancient heart still beating, in tune with the universe. The faintest hum seems to fill the air, a sound that is not of this world, but of a place beyond a place, where time flows differently, where the stars are not cold, distant lights, but living, breathing entities. Some believe that this observatory was more than just a tool for measuring the heavens. It was said to be a bridge, a sacred space where the knowledge of the stars could be shared with the earth. The people who built it, long lost to time, believed that the heavens held the key to the mysteries of the world, that by understanding the stars, they could understand their own lives, their own purpose. And perhaps, in the quiet of the night, the observatory itself is still trying to tell us those secrets. As we step under the dome, where once great instruments sat poised to chart the sky, we find only shadows, the shapes of forgotten machinery, now barely discernible in the dim light. But it is the night that holds the real meaning of this place. The sky, vast and infinite, stretches out before us, its stars twinkling softly in the dark. They are so close now, their light brushing against the stone, their stories woven into the very fabric of the universe. It is said that the ancients who came here believed the stars could be read, not like a book, but like a language older than words, older than time itself. They saw patterns in the stars, shapes that told them when to plant, when to harvest, when to pray. And perhaps, they believed, they could even understand the rhythm of life itself by watching the stars move across the sky. As we stand in the center of the observatory, the silence feels sacred, as if we too are being invited to listen. The wind stirs the air, and the faintest sound, like a soft breath, fills the space around us. We look upward, our eyes drawn to the sky. The stars seem to move, to shift, their light dancing, as if they too are alive, waiting for us to hear their song. It is not a song that can be heard with the ears, but with the heart, with the spirit. Perhaps this is the true purpose of the observatory, not to seek answers in the heavens, but to listen to the language of the stars, to feel their presence, to understand that we are part of something greater than ourselves, something timeless. Perhaps it is not the stars that have forgotten us, but we who have forgotten how to listen. In the stillness of this ancient observatory, we are reminded that there is a rhythm to the universe, a pulse that beats not just in the stars, but in the very earth beneath our feet. The observatory is not just a place of the past, but a bridge to the present, a place where we are invited to pause and listen, to understand that the stars still speak, that their message has never been lost, only waiting for those who are ready to hear. As the night deepens, the stars continue their eternal dance, their light soft and eternal, casting long shadows across the observatory's stone walls. We stand in silence, listening to the song of the heavens, letting it fill the space between us and the sky. And though we may never understand all the mysteries they hold, we are left with the quiet, knowing that the stars have always been here, guiding us, watching over us, waiting for us to look up and listen. Perhaps, like the stars themselves, the answers are not meant to be found all at once. Perhaps they are meant to be felt in quiet moments, in the stillness between the breaths of the earth. And in that silence, in that pause, we are reminded that some truths cannot be spoken, only lived. And as the night stretches on, the observatory remains its purpose, its story, its song, waiting for those who are ready to listen. The gate that was never meant to open. In the deepest corners of the jungle, where the shadows stretch long and the air is thick with the scent of earth and ancient growth, there stands a gate. It is an imposing structure, half buried in the thick vines and tangled roots that have claimed this place as their own. This gate, however, is no ordinary entrance. It is said to be a doorway to something other, a realm hidden beyond the veil of our world, where the line between the living and the divine is said to be paper-thin. Its stone pillars, worn by time and weather, rise up from the earth like the last remnants of a civilization that knew things the world has long forgotten. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, the jungle becomes even more still, bathed in the soft glow of twilight. The gate seems to pulse in the dimming light, as though it too is waiting, holding its breath for something long overdue. It is said that in ancient times, those who stood before it were not mere travelers, but seekers of knowledge, searching for a way to cross the threshold between worlds. This gate, with its weathered carvings and faded symbols, once stood as a barrier, protecting something sacred from the world outside. But now, all that remains is the faint echo of its former purpose, its secrets buried beneath the roots of the jungle, waiting for someone brave enough to unlock them. We approach the gate slowly, our steps quiet, the sounds of the jungle surrounding us. The air is thick with humidity, and the leaves above rustle softly in the breeze. The gate is large, imposing, made of stone that has been smoothed by centuries of wind and rain. The carvings on its surface are worn but still visible, strange symbols that seem to swirl in patterns too intricate to understand. Figures that look as if they have stepped out of another time, another place. They seem to shift when we look away, as if the gate itself is watching, waiting for something to happen. Some believe that the gate was built by a civilization long lost, a people who understood the secrets of the universe, who could communicate with the stars, the earth, and the divine. The gate was their most sacred creation, a portal not just to the physical world, but to realms beyond comprehension. They believed that by stepping through the gate, they would enter a place of profound understanding, where the mysteries of life and death would be revealed. But as time passed, the gate was sealed. Perhaps it was too powerful to remain open, or perhaps the knowledge it held was too dangerous for human minds to bear. Whatever the reason, the gate was shut not by force, but by the quiet hand of time, until all that remained was this forgotten relic, half hidden by the encroaching jungle. Now, as the night deepens, the air grows still, and the gate seems to shimmer in the moonlight, its surface alive with a soft glow that seems almost otherworldly. We stand before it, drawn to its presence, as if the very earth beneath our feet is urging us to pass through, to see what lies beyond. But the gate does not open. There is no key, no lock to turn, no way to force it open. The gate is not meant to be opened by the hands of men, but by something deeper, something ancient. It is said that only those who are ready, those who have shed the weight of the physical world, can truly pass through it. The rest of us are left to stand and gaze, caught in the mystery of its silence. As the moon rises higher, the jungle around us grows darker, and the gate seems to retreat into the shadows, its presence fading with the night. We feel its pull, the temptation to reach out, to push past the veil that separates us from the unknown. But the air is thick with the sense that some things are meant to remain untouched. Perhaps it is not the gate that is the mystery, but the force that holds it closed. Perhaps the gate was never meant to be opened at all. Perhaps it is a reminder that there are places in this world that should remain veiled, secrets that are best left hidden, a sacred space that must not be disturbed. The night deepens, and the stars above us twinkle softly, their light a gentle reminder that the mysteries of the universe are vast, and there are some things that we are not meant to understand. The jungle around us remains still, as if the earth itself is holding its breath, watching, waiting. The gate stands silently before us, its purpose forgotten, its story lost in the folds of time. But in its silence, we hear the faintest whisper of voice that seems to rise from the stone itself, a voice that speaks not in words, but in the quiet rhythm of the wind, in the subtle hum of the earth beneath our feet. Perhaps the gate was never meant to be opened. Perhaps its power lies not in what it reveals, but in what it keeps hidden. Some say that to cross such a threshold would change us forever, that to enter that space beyond would mean leaving behind the world we know, stepping into a place where time no longer moves in the way we understand it, where the boundaries between life and death, past and future, are blurred. Perhaps the gate stands as a reminder that some boundaries are not meant to be crossed, some truths are not meant to be known, and perhaps, in the quiet stillness of the jungle, that is the only answer we will ever receive. And so, as the night stretches on, and the stars continue their silent dance above, we are left with the gate, its shadow stretching long across the jungle floor, its mystery lingering in the air. We may never understand what lies beyond it, but perhaps, like the gate itself, we are not meant to. Some things, after all, are best left in silence, wrapped in the mystery of time. The gate remains closed, waiting for those who may one day come, waiting for those who may have the courage to stand before it and listen. But for now, we turn away, leaving it behind, as the jungle wraps its secrets in the folds of darkness, waiting to keep its mysteries for another night. The moonlit river of forgotten souls. There is a river that winds through a land untouched by time, its waters dark and silent, flowing gently under the watchful gaze of the moon. It is said that this river does not carry the living, but the souls of the departed, guiding them from one world to the next. The river flows through valleys of mist, past forgotten ruins, and beneath the shadows of mountains where the earth itself seems to hold its breath. Its waters, though calm, are sacred, for they carry with them the weight of untold stories, the memories of those who have passed, and the quiet whispers of the world beyond. As the evening settles, the moon rises slowly, casting its soft glow upon the river's surface, which shimmers as if the very stars themselves are caught within its depths. The air is thick with stillness, the world around us hushed, as if it too is waiting for something, waiting for a moment, a sign, a whisper. The river, though silent, seems alive with the weight of its purpose. Its current moves with the slow rhythm of a forgotten lullaby, carrying with it the echoes of lives lived and lost. The world feels suspended here, caught between the realms of the living and the dead, and in this space, the river becomes not just a body of water, but a threshold, a passageway through time. We walk along the riverbank, our footsteps muffled by the soft earth beneath us, and the only sound we hear is the gentle rustling of leaves as the night breeze moves through the trees. The path is narrow, winding, and lined with old stones, their surfaces worn smooth by centuries of wind and water. The river, though calm, feels full of meaning, as though it carries with it more than just water. It carries memories, prayers, and wishes, flowing silently toward a distant horizon, where the land and the sky meet in a haze of mist. It is said that those who come to this river do not come for rest or for solace, but for guidance. For this river, unlike any other, is said to be the last journey, the journey not just of the body, but of the soul. The souls of the departed, it is believed, are drawn to the river's current, guided gently by its waters as they cross the threshold between the living and the divine. Some say that the river's course is uncharted, that its destination is not of this world, but of a place beyond comprehension, where time ceases to exist and the soul finds peace in the arms of eternity. As we stand at the edge of the water, gazing out into the river's dark depths, the surface ripples gently, disturbed by an unseen force. The moonlight catches the water's surface, sending soft waves of silver light cascading across the banks. In the distance, the sound of water softly lapping against the shore reaches our ears, a soothing, rhythmic sound that feels like a quiet prayer. The river, in its stillness, beckons us to listen, to hear the soft murmur of the world beyond. Perhaps, in the ripples of its current, we can hear the faintest whisper, the voices of those who have passed, who now journey on this river toward a place unknown. Some say that the river is more than just a guide for the dead, that it holds within it the wisdom of the ages, the knowledge of those who once walked the earth but have long since been forgotten. Their voices, it is said, are carried by the river's current, whispering their stories to those who are willing to listen. And as we stand here, by the river's edge, it feels as though we are not just witnesses, but participants, not just travelers on this world, but part of the great flow of existence that moves through time, carrying with it the stories of all those who have come before us. The moon rises higher, casting its silvery light across the river, and for a moment, the world feels timeless. The shadows of the trees stretch long across the water, and the air grows still. We stand there, suspended in the quiet of the night, our minds drifting toward the distant shores where the river's journey ends. And yet, there is no end here, no final destination. The river flows on, its waters moving ever forward toward an unknown place, toward a mystery that we may never fully understand. Perhaps that is the true nature of this river, not to reveal its secrets, but to guide us gently, to carry us toward the unknown with grace and serenity. As we continue along the river's edge, the path begins to curve, taking us away from the water's edge, yet we cannot help but feel its pull, its quiet, soothing presence. The river, in its silence, has become something more than just water. It has become a living entity, a bridge between worlds, between life and death, between the known and the unknown. We are left with the knowledge that the river will continue its journey, its waters carrying the souls of those who follow its current, guiding them toward what lies beyond. And as the night deepens, we are left with the quiet realization that some mysteries are not meant to be understood, but felt. The river does not speak in words, but in the soft rhythm of its flow, in the quiet murmur of its waters, in the gentle rustle of leaves as they fall upon its surface. In the silence of the night, the river carries with it the memories of those who have passed, the whispers of those who have come before, and the quiet, eternal knowledge that life, like the river, flows onward, ever onward, through time and space toward the unknown. Perhaps the river does not carry us to answers, but to peace, a peace that comes not from understanding, but from knowing that some journeys are meant to be taken in silence, in stillness, in the quiet embrace of the world that surrounds us. And as the river flows on, beneath the soft gaze of the moon, we are left with the thought that this river, like the journey itself, is not a destination, but a path that will always be there, waiting, whenever we are ready to listen to its quiet, eternal song. The pillars that listen to the winds of time. In the heart of an ancient, forgotten desert, where the sun lingers on the horizon like a fading ember, there stands a temple, not a grand, towering structure, but one whose significance is known only to the winds. The stones of this temple are worn and weathered, their edges softened by centuries of wind and rain, yet they remain standing, tall and resolute, as though they have always been here, waiting for those few who can hear their story. The pillars, reaching high into the sky, are not simply columns of stone, but markers, silent sentinels that have witnessed the passage of time, each one listening to the whispers of the earth, the winds, and the stars. The temple is hidden from the world, its location known only to the most devoted seekers, those who walk the desert's endless expanse in search of something that cannot be seen with the eyes, but only felt in the soul. As we approach the temple, the sand beneath our feet shifts softly, the quiet murmur of the desert wind the only sound that accompanies us. The sun begins to dip below the horizon, casting long, soft shadows that stretch across the desert floor, and the world is bathed in a golden light, a light that feels eternal, as though time itself slows in the presence of this sacred place. The pillars rise before us, their surfaces etched with symbols, faint and worn by the ages, but still discernible in the dying light. They speak of forgotten rituals, of ceremonies held in silence, of lives lived and lost in the shadows of time. The temple was built, some believe, not just to honor the gods, but to listen to the winds that carried the voices of the earth and the heavens, to hear the secrets hidden in the rhythm of the world. The pillars were not mere supports, but instruments, designed to capture the whispers of time itself, to resonate with the winds that sweep across the desert, carrying with them the songs of a distant past. As the wind stirs around us, the pillars seem to come alive, their stone surfaces vibrating softly with the breath of the desert. The air grows cooler as the sun sinks lower, and the wind, once a gentle breeze, picks up, carrying with it the faintest hum, the faintest echo of something ancient, something hidden beneath the sands. The temple, in its stillness, seems to be waiting, listening for something, as though it is not merely a place of worship, but a place where time itself is measured, where the past and the present meet in the quiet, sacred silence. We step closer to the pillars, our footsteps muffled by the soft sand, and the wind wraps around us, swirling gently as though trying to communicate, to tell us something that cannot be spoken in words. It is said that those who come here, those who can listen closely enough, can hear the stories carried by the wind, the stories of those who have passed through this place before, the whispers of the ancients, the echoes of lives lived long ago. Perhaps it is the wind itself that holds the temple's true meaning, for it is the wind that has carried the knowledge of the world across the desert, across time, across the very fabric of existence. The pillars stand like ancient ears, listening to the song of the wind, their surfaces marked with the residue of forgotten prayers, their stones shaped not just by the hand of man, but by the hands of the earth itself. The winds here do not blow randomly. They follow a rhythm, a pattern as old as the earth itself. Each gust of wind carries with it a vibration, a pulse that echoes across the landscape, a reminder that time is not linear, but cyclical, and that the past is never truly gone. It is always here, waiting to be heard, waiting to be remembered. The temple is not just a place of stillness. It is a place of listening. It is a space where the veil between the known and the unknown is thin, where the winds carry the voices of the dead, the spirits of the ancestors, the quiet murmurs of those who once lived here and passed on. Some say that if you listen long enough, you can hear the stories of the earth itself, the tales that have been written not on parchment or stone, but in the very breath of the wind. These stories are not for the mind to understand, but for the soul to feel. The wind is the messenger, the temple is the vessel, and we are the listeners. As night falls, the temperature drops, and the world grows quieter still. The sky above us is a deep velvet, scattered with stars, each one a silent witness to the passage of time, to the endless cycle of life and death, to the stories written in the dust. The pillars seem to glow faintly in the starlight, their stone surfaces shifting with the light of the stars, as if they are alive, moving, breathing with the rhythm of the universe. The temple, though ancient and worn, seems to be standing watch, holding space for the winds, for the stories, for the mysteries that lie hidden in the air around us. Perhaps the temple was never meant to offer answers. Perhaps it was meant only to remind us that some things cannot be understood with the mind, but only with the heart. The wind, the pillars, the stone, they are not meant to be controlled, but to be listened to be felt in the deepest parts of our being. The temple stands not as a monument to the past, but as a space that exists outside of time, a place where the past and the present merge in the silence of the desert. As the night deepens, we stand beneath the pillars, surrounded by the quiet hum of the wind, the soft song of the desert filling the air around us. There is no grand revelation here, no great secret to be uncovered. There is only the stillness, the breath of the earth, the listening. Perhaps it is in this silence that we find our greatest answers, in the understanding that some knowledge is not meant to be possessed, but to be felt, like the soft touch of the wind against the skin, the quiet rhythm of the earth beneath our feet. And as we turn to leave, the wind stirs once more, carrying with it the faintest whispers of the past. The pillars stand tall, their stones worn, their purpose fulfilled. The desert is still, and the temple, though empty, remains. It is said that the wind will continue to carry the stories, to sing its song, and the pillars will continue to listen, forever waiting for the next soul to stand before them and hear what they have to say. And in the silence, we are left with a thought. Perhaps some mysteries are not meant to be solved, but simply to be heard. The heartbeat beneath the earth, beneath the surface of the world, far from the reach of sunlight and the clamour of human life, there is a place where the earth beats with a rhythm older than time itself. Deep in the heart of a forgotten cavern, there lies a pulse, a sound like the heartbeat of the earth, a low, steady vibration that resonates through the stone. It is said that this cavern holds within it the memories of the world, the very soul of the earth itself, where time is not measured in hours and minutes, but in the steady thrum of the land's deep, ancient breath. As the sun dips below the horizon, the world around us shifts. The air grows cooler, the shadows lengthen, and the sky above fades into a blanket of indigo, dotted with the soft shimmer of distant stars. The journey to the cavern is long, winding through dense forests, across rivers that murmur secrets to the stones, and over hills where the earth feels alive beneath our feet. The further we travel, the more the world around us falls silent, as though the very land is holding its breath, waiting for us to arrive at the heart of its being. The cavern is hidden in a valley of forgotten stone, nestled between craggy mountains that have stood for eons, watching the world below shift and change. The entrance is small, almost imperceptible, a jagged fissure in the rock, half hidden by vines and moss, as though the earth itself wishes to keep its secret. But once we step through the narrow passage and into the cavern beyond, we are met by a vastness that takes the breath away. The air is thick and cool, the silence absolute, and in that stillness there is something profound, something that stirs deep within us, as though we have crossed the threshold into another realm. The cavern opens up before us, its stone walls smooth and dark, their surfaces glistening with moisture, as though the rock itself is alive with the pulse of the earth. The sound, the heartbeat, begins as a soft murmur, barely audible at first. But as we move deeper into the cavern, the vibration grows stronger, filling the space around us, vibrating through the air, through the very ground beneath our feet. The pulse is not loud or overwhelming, but steady, soothing, like the sound of the earth's breath, a deep, ancient rhythm that has echoed through the stone for as long as time itself. Some say that this heartbeat is the very soul of the earth, the lifeblood that flows beneath the surface, connecting all things: the mountains, the rivers, the trees, and the creatures that dwell in the darkness. It is the pulse of creation, the rhythm that keeps the world alive, the quiet thrum that resonates through everything, from the smallest pebble to the tallest tree. The earth, they say, is not dead, but alive. And this heartbeat is proof of that, proof that beneath the surface, where the world seems still, there is a life force that sustains all things. As we move deeper into the cavern, the sound of the heartbeat grows more pronounced, the pulse vibrating through our bodies, as though the earth is speaking to us, sharing its secrets with those who are willing to listen. The stone walls of the cavern seem to hum with energy, and the air feels charged with a quiet power, as though the very breath of the earth is alive with ancient knowledge. We pause for a moment, closing our eyes, letting the pulse wash over us, letting it fill the space between our thoughts, between the noise of the world outside. Here, in this sacred silence, we are reminded that there is something greater than ourselves, something vast and eternal, something that has existed long before we ever walked upon the earth, and something that will continue long after we have passed. Perhaps the heartbeat is a reminder that the earth is not just a place we inhabit, but a living, breathing entity in its own right. It is not a backdrop for our lives, but a presence that moves with us, that supports us, that holds us in its embrace. We are not separate from the earth, but a part of it, bound to its rhythms, to its pulse, to its eternal cycle. And here, in the heart of the cavern, we are reminded that the earth, like us, has a story to tell, a story that is written not in books or words, but in the very stones beneath our feet, in the pulse of the land, in the quiet hum of its heartbeat. The cavern, though vast, is not an empty space. It is filled with the echoes of all who have come before us, the whispers of ancient travelers who once stood here, listening to the heartbeat of the earth, feeling its rhythm in their bones. Some say that the cavern is a place of memory, a place where the past is not lost, but stored, held in the very stone, waiting to be uncovered by those who are willing to listen. The earth, it seems, has a way of holding on to the things we forget, of keeping the memories of those who have passed, of holding them in its deep, eternal heart. As the night deepens, the sound of the heartbeat continues, its rhythm steady, unwavering, like the pulse of the world itself. The cavern is still, the air thick with the weight of time, and we stand there in the quiet of the earth, listening to the pulse of creation. perhaps we will never fully understand the depth of this sound, the true meaning of the Earth's heartbeat. But in this moment, we do not need to. The sound itself is enough. The pulse is enough. Perhaps it is not the Earth that is waiting for us to understand, but we who must learn to listen to the rhythms that govern our world, to the deep, quiet pulse that sustains us all. And in that listening, perhaps we will find a deeper connection to the land, to the universe, and to ourselves. For the heartbeat beneath the Earth is not just the pulse of the Earth, but the pulse of life itself, a reminder that we are part of something much larger, much more ancient than we can ever fully comprehend. As we turn to leave the cavern, the pulse continues, its steady rhythm filling the space between us and the outside world. The Earth's heartbeat is not something we can see, but something we can feel, deep within us, vibrating through our bones, reminding us that we are not alone, that we are part of something eternal. And though we may never truly understand all that the Earth holds, we carry with us the knowledge that beneath the surface, deep in the heart of the world, the pulse of life continues a silent, eternal rhythm that moves through everything, binding us all together in its quiet, sacred song. The lantern that once guided the lost. In the shadow of a long-forgotten coast, where the sea meets the jagged cliffs in a perpetual, whispering embrace, there once stood a lantern. Its light, though soft, shone with a steady glow, casting a welcoming warmth across the dark expanse of the water. It was not a lantern that marked the path for those journeying to distant lands, but for those lost, those adrift in a world of uncertainty. It was said that this lantern was more than a beacon. It was a guide for souls who wandered, a light that led them home when all other paths had faded into the dark. Now, only the rustling of the wind and the distant crash of the waves remain as echoes of its purpose. The coast is silent now, the once bustling port long overtaken by the relentless advance of time. The path that once led to the lantern's warm glow has grown wild, overtaken by the creeping salt air and wind-bent grasses. As we walk along the crumbling pier, our feet disturbed only by the soft shush of the sand, the place feels suspended, caught between the memory of the past and the silence of the present. The lantern is gone, its light extinguished by time and the wear of the ages. But still the air seems to hum faintly with its presence, as if the very earth remembers its call to the lost. It is said that the lantern's light was not merely an illumination of the physical world, but a light that reached beyond, into the spaces where memories fade and forgotten voices linger. Those who stood before it were not simply travelers seeking direction, but souls adrift in the currents of time. The lantern's glow was not harsh, but soft and steady, a warm invitation for those who had lost their way to pause, to breathe, and to remember that the journey was not over. For those who could not see their path, the lantern's light was a promise that even in the darkest hours, there is a way forward if only we can find the courage to follow. Now, the lantern's base lies rusted, its once shining brass faded and cracked by salt and wind. The light it once cast upon the dark waves is but a distant memory. Yet, as we stand on the edge of the coast, gazing out at the stillness of the sea, there is something in the air, something that stirs the soul, a quiet resonance that seems to speak to us, as if the lantern's purpose has not yet been fulfilled. The wind that rolls off the water carries with it the faintest echo of the light's former warmth, and for a moment we are suspended between worlds, the one that was and the one that remains, where the light still guides those who have the eyes to see it. Perhaps the lantern was never just a physical object at all, but a symbol of hope, of finding one's way, even when the world feels lost. Some say the lantern was a kind of bridge, an intermediary between the realms of the living and the dead, guiding those adrift in the afterlife as they crossed from the world of the living into whatever awaited them beyond. The lantern's glow was a promise that no one would ever be forgotten, that the path through the darkness would always be lit, even when it seemed that there was no way forward. The spirits who found their way to this light, it is said, would be guided home, across the waves, across the winds, through the veil that separates the worlds. As the night deepens, the stars above us blink softly in the clear sky, their light casting a pale reflection across the waters. The lantern is gone, but its memory lingers, woven into the fabric of the night. And though the wind has long since extinguished its flame, the light remains in the stories whispered by the waves, in the quiet pulse of the earth beneath our feet. We stand here, not as strangers to this place, but as travelers, those who have found their way here, in search of something that cannot be fully understood, something lost, and yet waiting to be rediscovered. The sea continues its eternal rhythm, the waves tumbling softly against the shore, each one a reminder of the passage of time. The wind stirs the grasses, whispering secrets that seem just out of reach, and the earth beneath our feet holds the memory of the lantern's light. Perhaps the lantern never truly left, but rather its glow has shifted into the air, into the soil, into the water, quietly continuing its work, even after its flame has gone out. The lost souls it once guided may have crossed over, but their journey is not forgotten. The lantern's light continues to flicker in the stillness, a soft promise to those who still wander in search of their way. As we turn to leave, the sound of the waves seems to follow us, their quiet rhythm a lullaby for the soul. We know that the lantern's light will never be fully extinguished, for it resides not in a single moment, but in the memory of those it once guided. The light lives on in the hearts of those who remember its glow, in the quiet spaces between thoughts, in the whispers of the sea. Perhaps it is not the lantern that is truly gone, but the way we see it. It remains, always hidden in the silence of the night, waiting for the next soul to find it. Perhaps, after all, it was never meant to be found again, but only to be remembered. The light of the lantern will flicker eternally, not in the distance, but in the spaces where we can hear it, where we can follow it, where it waits, patiently, for us to return. And in the quiet of the night, with the moonlight spilling across the water, we find peace, knowing that no soul, no journey, is ever truly lost. The song that echoed through the hollow. In the heart of a secluded valley, far from the reach of time and the noise of the world, there exists a hollow, a place where the wind sings and the earth hums with ancient resonance. It is said that this hollow holds a song, a melody that has been carried on the breeze for centuries, though no one knows its origin. Some believe it is the song of the earth itself, sung through the trees, the rocks, and the rivers. Others say it is the echo of long-forgotten voices, the prayers of those who once lived in this land, woven into the very fabric of the valley. At twilight, when the air grows cool and the sky is painted with the soft hues of dusk, the song rises again, faint at first, like a whisper on the wind, but slowly growing louder, more distinct, until it fills the space between the mountains and the sky. The valley is quiet, untouched by the modern world, its edges lined with thick trees whose branches stretch up to touch the heavens. The ground beneath our feet is soft, covered in a carpet of fallen leaves and moss, and the air carries the scent of damp earth and wildflowers. As we move deeper into the hollow, the trees begin to thin, revealing a clearing bathed in the gentle glow of the evening light. Here, in the heart of the valley, the song rises again, the melody carried by the wind, rising through the leaves, the stones, the very soil. The song is not loud, but it is unmistakable, a melody that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere, a sound that fills the heart with longing and peace in the same breath. It echoes through the hollow, bouncing off the ancient stones that line the valley, and reverberating through the trees that sway softly in the evening breeze. It is said that the song is not a sound meant for the ears, but for the soul, a quiet hum that speaks to the deepest parts of us, stirring something ancient and familiar. For some, it is a song of memory, of a time long past. For others, it is a song of connection, a reminder that the earth holds within it the knowledge of everything that has ever lived. As we stand in the clearing, the song grows clearer, rising up from the very heart of the valley, and we can almost feel it within us, like a pulse that echoes in our bones. The wind carries it, winding its way through the trees, over the rocks, and through the air, until it fills the hollow with a deep, resonant vibration. We close our eyes for a moment, and in the stillness, the song becomes clearer, as if it is reaching out to us, asking us to listen. The melody is gentle, almost haunting, and though it has no words, it feels as though it carries a message, a story that only those who truly listen can understand. Some believe that the song is the earth's way of speaking, its quiet lullaby to those who are willing to pause and hear its voice. The hollow, with its untouched beauty and serene stillness, is not just a place of natural wonder, but a place of memory, where the voices of the past have been woven into the fabric of the land. The song that echoes through the valley is not a song sung by a single voice, but a chorus of many, the voices of those who have come before, whose lives were lived in harmony with the earth, whose spirits are now carried in the song that fills the air. Their voices are not lost, but live on in the hollow, woven into the land, into the trees, into the very song that rises from the valley floor. As we move deeper into the clearing, the song seems to swell, its notes floating on the breeze, rising and falling with the rhythm of the world itself. It is not a song of joy, nor of sorrow, but of something in between, a quiet, eternal melody that exists outside of time, beyond the bounds of human understanding. It is a song that transcends the boundaries of the earth, reaching toward the sky, toward the stars, toward something greater. It is said that the song is a bridge, a connection between the living and the dead, between the earth and the heavens, between the past and the future. Perhaps the song is meant to remind us of something forgotten, something that we once knew but have lost over time. Perhaps it is the song of the earth, the music of the universe itself, waiting for us to remember, to listen, to reconnect. Some say that those who hear the song are touched by it, changed by it, as if the very rhythm of the earth has been woven into their souls. In the hollow, in the presence of this song, we are reminded that we are not separate from the earth, but an integral part of it, and that the song of the land is the song of our own hearts. As the night deepens, the song continues to echo through the hollow, a quiet lullaby that fills the valley with a sense of peace, of connection, of eternity. The moon rises above the trees, casting its pale light over the land, and the song grows softer, more distant, as though it is fading into the earth itself, returning to the soil, to the roots, to the stones. The wind carries the last notes on the breeze, and in the stillness, we are left with the feeling that the song will never truly fade, that it will always be here, waiting to be heard by those who are ready to listen. Perhaps the song was never meant to be understood, but only to be felt. Perhaps it is not a song of words, but a song of connection, a reminder that we are part of something greater than ourselves, something older, something eternal. The song that echoes through the hollow is not just the song of the earth, but of all things the pulse of life, the heartbeat of the universe, the quiet rhythm that binds us all together. And as we leave the hollow, the song lingers in our hearts, a soft echo that will remain with us, a reminder that the earth is always speaking, always singing, and that, if we are willing to listen, we can hear its voice in the softest whispers of the wind, the echoes of the ancient harbour, at the edge of a forgotten coastline, where the sea meets the land in a timeless embrace. There lies the hushed remnants of an ancient harbour. It was once a bustling gateway to distant shores, a meeting place of traders, sailors, and travellers from all corners of the earth. But now only silence remains, interrupted only by the eternal song of the waves, their rhythm soft against the shore, as though the sea itself remembers a time when life flowed freely in the bustling docks and markets of the harbour. This is a place where history has left its mark in the quiet spaces, in the stones worn smooth by the tides, in the whispers carried on the wind. Yet, though the harbour is long abandoned, it is not forgotten. Its stories are carried by the sea, rising and falling with the waves, murmuring in the spaces where the earth and sky meet. The journey to this forgotten place is long, the road winding through hills dotted with ancient ruins and half-buried remnants of an age gone by. The path narrows as we descend toward the coastline, the air growing heavier with the scent of salt and brine. The sea, once a welcoming expanse of trade and adventure, now stretches before us as a silent witness to the passage of time. The sky is overcast, the pale light of the day fading, casting long shadows across the land. And here, at the edge of the world, the harbour lies hidden, a place where memory has faded into the dust, but where the ocean's quiet echo still carries the stories of those who once walked these shores. As we reach the old harbour, the remains of the once great docks appear before us, half submerged in the soft embrace of the tides, the wood of the piers rotting away, leaving only the skeletal outlines of what once was. The stone steps leading down into the water are slick with moss and seaweed, worn by the endless pull of the tide. The silence here is profound, and yet beneath it there is something stirring, a faint pulse in the air, a rhythm that seems to rise and fall with the waves. It is said that the harbour, though abandoned, still holds a kind of life, not in the form of those who once sailed into its waters, but in the echoes of their journeys, in the memories of the ships that docked here, in the voices of the traders and travellers who walked its shores. These echoes are not heard by the ear, but felt by the soul, as though the harbour itself holds the stories of all who passed through it, stored in the very stones beneath our feet. The harbour was once a crossroads, a place where the earth met the sea, where cultures and languages mingled, where goods and ideas were exchanged as freely as the ebbing and flowing of the tide. Some say that the harbour was built not just for commerce, but for something deeper, for the crossing of thresholds, the coming together of the known and the unknown. Ships that sailed into the harbour carried more than just goods. They carried stories, legends, dreams, and when they departed, they carried the same stories of the harbour, whispers of the people who passed through its gates, fragments of lives lived and lost. Now, the harbour is nothing but a faint memory, its docks and warehouses slowly being reclaimed by the sea. The boats that once sailed into these waters have long since disappeared, their wooden hulls eaten away by time, their sails carried away on the winds. Yet, as we stand by the water, we feel it the quiet hum of history, the soft pull of the past. The ocean whispers to us, its song one of remembrance, of longing. The sounds of the waves seem to mirror the voices that once filled this place, the laughter of traders, the calls of sailors preparing to set sail, the murmur of conversations exchanged over cups of wine. Though no one remains to tell these stories, the harbour holds them still, locked in the stone, in the sand, in the very rhythm of the tide. The sea, it seems, has become both keeper and witness of the harbour's legacy, carrying its stories into the farthest reaches of the earth. As the tide begins to rise, the quiet rhythm of the waves becomes more pronounced, filling the space around us with a soothing, eternal cadence. The sea stretches out before us, vast and infinite, its surface dotted with the faintest glimmer of light from the overcast sky. The water laps softly at the shore, its movements slow and deliberate, as if the harbour's spirit is moving with it, drifting further into the distance with each passing wave. We are left to wonder, is the harbour truly gone, or does it still linger here, beneath the surface, waiting for the moment when it will once again be remembered, when the stories it holds will once again be told? Some say that the harbour's memory will never fade entirely, that the sea will always carry its legacy, its whispers to those who are willing to listen. Perhaps the harbour's true purpose was not to stand forever, but to leave behind a trail of stories, a legacy woven into the fabric of time itself. And perhaps, in the quiet stillness of the night, when the winds calm and the waves slow, the harbour will once again come to life in the memory of those who seek its secrets, in the soft murmur of the ocean's song, in the echoes of a time long past. As the evening light fades, we stand before the water, the remnants of the harbour behind us, its stories now mingling with the voices of the wind and the sea. We are left with the quiet knowledge that the harbour, though abandoned, is never truly gone. It lives on in the rhythm of the ocean, in the stories whispered by the waves, in the echoes of the past that rise and fall with the tide. The harbour is not just a place, but a memory that will continue to call out to those who are willing to listen, who are willing to follow the water's quiet song. Perhaps, in the end, the harbour was never meant to be forgotten. Perhaps it is not the docks and piers that give it life, but the stories that it carries, the whispers that it holds, waiting for the right moment, for the right soul to hear them. And so, as we turn away from the shore, we are left with the faintest sense of longing, as if the harbour's song will continue to echo in our hearts, waiting for the day when we, too, will come back to listen once more. The spiral path toward the unknown. High above the world, on a mountain so ancient that even the stones seem to hum with the memory of forgotten eons, there lies a path, a narrow, winding spiral that leads upward through the mist toward a summit that is veiled in secrecy. The path is old, older than the mountains themselves, carved into the earth by hands both divine and earthly, though now forgotten. It is not a path for the faint-hearted, nor is it one that promises an easy journey. With each step, the world below seems to fade, and the air grows thinner, cooler, as though the very atmosphere is keeping its distance, allowing only those truly ready to walk its course. As we begin our ascent, the path unfurls before us, twisting and turning, the ground beneath our feet soft and uneven, each step an echo of the last, a quiet reminder that the journey we are undertaking is not one of speed or achievement, but of quiet reflection. The sky above us is a pale canvas, the clouds stretch thin like delicate threads as the sun begins its slow descent, casting long, gentle shadows across the mountainside. There is a stillness here, a quiet reverence, as though the world is holding its breath, awaiting the next footstep, the next turn of the path. The air is cool, crisp with the scent of pine and earth, and as we move further upward, the landscape shifts. The trees thin out, replaced by jagged rocks and steep inclines. There are no signs here, no markers to indicate how far we have come, nor how far we still must go. The path is its own guide, winding through the mountains, leading us upward into the unknown. It is said that those who walk this path are not merely moving through space, but through time itself. Each step is a passage, each turn a memory, a transition from the world we know to something deeper, something hidden beyond our sight. The spiral path, it is said, does not lead to a place, but to a truth that lies beyond words, beyond comprehension, a truth that can only be felt, not understood. As we walk, the path seems to open before us, leading us into the heart of the mountain, where the silence is absolute, broken only by the whisper of wind between the rocks. There is something sacred about this silence, as though the mountain itself is listening, waiting for us to arrive at the heart of its secret. The path spirals inward, drawing us closer to the summit, closer to the unknown, until the land below us is but a distant memory, swallowed by the mists and shadows of the mountain. Perhaps the path was never meant to be followed in haste. Perhaps it was designed to slow us, to force us to listen to the quiet rhythm of our own breath, to hear the stillness of the world around us. With each turn of the path, we shed the weight of the world, the noise, the distractions, until all that remains is the quiet, gentle pull of the mountain drawing us inward. It is said that those who reach the summit do not do so with their feet, but with their hearts, and that the path itself becomes a mirror, a reflection of the journey within, a passage not just through the landscape, but through the soul. As we reach the final stretch of the spiral, the summit draws closer, shrouded in mist, as though the mountain itself is holding its secret just out of reach. The air grows even thinner, and with each breath, we feel the weight of the world growing lighter, as though we are no longer bound by the same rules that govern the earth below. It is a strange feeling, a feeling of both release and expectation, as though we are on the verge of discovering something vast and eternal, something that lies just beyond the veil of the physical world. The mist thickens, and as we reach the summit, the land before us opens into a vast, endless expanse. There is no horizon here, no clear boundary between the earth and the sky. Instead, the world seems to dissolve into a space of infinite possibility, a space where the air itself feels alive, charged with an energy that we cannot see but can feel deep within our bones. The The summit is not marked by any monument, no altar or stone, but by the vastness around us, the silence, the breath of the earth itself, the quiet pulse that beats in time with the rhythm of the universe. Some say that the summit is a place of enlightenment, a place where the secrets of the universe are laid bare. But those who have stood here know that the truth is not something that can be grasped or understood. Instead, it is something that must be experienced, something that can only be felt in the quiet stillness of the heart. The summit does not reveal answers, but invites questions, questions that cannot be answered with words, but only with the quiet understanding that we are part of something far greater, something that cannot be fully comprehended, only sensed. As the mist continues to swirl around us, the world below seems a distant memory, and we are left suspended between the earth and the sky, between the known and the unknown. The path, though it has brought us here, is not the end of the journey, but the beginning of something more. Perhaps it is not the summit we are meant to find, but the space in between the silence, the stillness, the quiet invitation to listen to the pulse of the universe, to feel the rhythm of the earth in the beat of our own hearts. As we begin to descend, the path no longer seems like a journey toward an end, but a return. We are not leaving the summit, but carrying it with us. The silence, the questions, the invitation to listen, to understand. Perhaps, in the end, the path toward the unknown is not a path at all, but a way of being, a way of moving through the world with an open heart, with a quiet mind, and with the understanding that some truths are never meant to be found, but only felt. And as we descend into the mist, the path behind us seems to vanish into the shadows, leaving only the quiet echo of our footsteps, a reminder that the journey is never truly over, but always unfolding, always leading us forward into the unknown. The stone circle beneath the eclipse. At the far reaches of a hidden valley, nestled between ancient hills, where the sky seems to stretch endlessly, there lies a stone circle, not one of grandeur or obvious purpose, but a quiet and sacred place, worn smooth by time. The stones are large and weathered, their surfaces etched with markings that have long been worn away, but still hold a deep resonance, as though they have been touched by something beyond the world of men. These stones were not placed here by chance. They were set in the earth with great intention, each one aligned with the heavens, each one designed to capture the fleeting moments when the stars and the moon cross in perfect harmony. Now, the stone circle sits abandoned, lost to time, hidden in the depths of the valley where few wander and even fewer understand its meaning. But tonight, beneath the cloak of an impending eclipse, the stones stir with the faintest whisper. The air feels different here, heavy with a presence that lingers in the shadows, caught between the fading light and the coming dark. The stillness of the valley is profound, the only sound the distant call of a bird or the soft rustle of wind through the grass. But tonight, the stone circle feels alive, as if it is waiting for something, waiting for the moment when the sky darkens and the moon, hidden in the shadow of the earth, casts its faint, otherworldly glow over the stones. As we step closer, the stones rise before us, their shapes faintly illuminated by the last light of day. The circle is not perfect, its stones lean at odd angles, some partially buried in the earth, others broken, as though the hands that set them in place had long since passed from this world. Yet despite their age, despite the wear of centuries, there is something sacred about the circle, something that reaches beyond the realm of the physical. Perhaps it is the way the stones seem to hum with the quiet energy of the earth, their rhythm in tune with the pulse of the land. Or perhaps it is the way they seem to reach toward the heavens, as though they are stretching toward the moon, toward the stars, toward something far beyond our understanding. As we stand within the circle, the air begins to shift. The moon rises slowly, its pale light casting long shadows across the valley, and the stones seem to pulse in time with the ebbing light. There is a quiet tension in the air, a sense that something is about to happen, that the circle's true purpose is about to be revealed. It is said that the stone circle was built to mark the moments when the earth and the heavens align during the phases of the moon, when the sun, the earth, and the moon come together in a perfect dance. But tonight, under the shadow of the eclipse, the circle takes on a different meaning. The eclipse is not just an astronomical event, but a symbol of transition, of change, of a moment when the known world slips briefly into shadow and the veil between the worlds grows thin. The wind picks up, swirling around the stones, carrying with it a faint, otherworldly hum, a sound that is neither of this world nor the next, but a bridge between them. The air grows heavy with anticipation, and as the moon's shadow slowly overtakes it, the world seems to hold its breath. The stars, once distant and cold, now seem closer, as though they are watching, waiting for the moment when the circle comes to life. It is in this moment, under the eclipse, that the true nature of the circle reveals itself not as a place of power, but as a place of reflection, a space where time stands still and the boundary between the living and the divine grows faint. As the eclipse deepens, the stones seem to glow faintly, their surface catching the faintest shimmer of the moon's shadow. The eclipse, some believe, is a time when the Earth's energy shifts, when the veil between the known and the unknown, between the earthly and the divine, becomes almost transparent. The stone circle, though weathered and broken, is said to act as a conduit during this time, a place where the echoes of the past can be heard more clearly, where the ancient forces that shaped the world can be felt with greater intensity. In this sacred space, time and memory swirl together, and the silence feels full of meaning, full of forgotten voices, full of stories that have long since faded from the world. As we stand in the center of the circle, the shadow of the eclipse creeping across the land, the world feels both ancient and new. The stones are silent, their purpose hidden beneath layers of time, yet they speak in their stillness. Perhaps it is not answers that the stone circle offers, but the invitation to listen to the whispers of the earth, to the secrets that have been held in the stones for centuries, to the rhythm of the universe as it beats in time with our hearts. Perhaps, like the eclipse itself, the stone circle is a reminder that the world is not a place of certainty, but of change, of cycles, of endless beginnings and endings. The moon's shadow continues to deepen, casting an eerie, otherworldly light over the valley, and the stone circle seems to become one with the night, its presence both comforting and mysterious. It is said that those who walk into the circle with open hearts can feel the pulse of the earth beneath their feet, can hear the soft whispers of those who have gone before, can feel the rhythm of the universe in their bones. But the circle does not offer its secrets freely. It is not a place for the seeking of knowledge, but for the seeking of understanding, a place where the soul can touch the divine, where time slips away, and the veil between this world and the next becomes impossibly thin. As the eclipse reaches its peak, the air seems to still, the world held in the moment of shadow. The stones, though silent, are filled with meaning, filled with the echoes of a time when the earth and the sky were closer, when the divine and the mortal walked together. The eclipse begins to fade, the moon's shadow lifting, the stars once again distant and cold, and the silence of the stone circle deepens. It is said that the circle's purpose is not to provide answers, but to offer a space for contemplation, a space where the mind can rest and the soul can listen. Perhaps the circle's greatest secret is not in what it holds, but in what it allows us to hear. As the night deepens and the eclipse fades into memory, we are left with the quiet understanding that the stone circle will remain here, waiting for the next eclipse, for the next soul ready to listen. Perhaps the circle was never meant to be understood, but to be felt, a reminder that the universe is always in motion, always in flux, always in the quiet dance between light and shadow. And as we step away from the circle, the echoes of the night linger, and the world seems just a little more mysterious, just a little more sacred, beneath the moon's eternal gaze. The well that reached beyond the earth, deep within the valley, where the land is woven with ancient roots, and the sky hangs heavy with unspoken secrets. There stands a well, its stone walls worn smooth by the passage of countless hands, its waters deep and still. This is no ordinary well, no mere source of fresh water, but a sacred place, a threshold between worlds, where the earth and the heavens meet. It is said that this well does not simply draw water from the earth, but from the very soul of the world, its depths reaching far beyond what the eye can see, touching places unknown, places untouched by time. It is a well that has drawn those in search of wisdom, those who seek answers not found in the physical realm, but in the quiet space between the worlds. As the light of day fades, the well begins to take on a different aura. The stones around it seem to pulse softly in the fading sunlight, as though they are alive, drawing energy from the land and from the air itself. The air around the well is thick with the scent of damp earth and moss, and there is a stillness here, a quiet weight, as though the world itself holds its breath. The valley, with its ancient trees and rocks, feels suspended in time, as though the well holds within it not just water, but the very essence of the place, the memory of all that has come before and all that will come after. The well is not large, but its depth is unfathomable. The stone walls, though worn by centuries of use, are still strong, holding the water within as if it were something precious, something sacred. And yet, the water is clear, its surface reflecting the pale light of the moon as it rises above the valley, casting long, soft shadows across the earth. Some say that if you peer into the well long enough, you will not simply see your reflection, but glimpses of other worlds, other realms, places where time and space have no meaning, where the past and future intertwine in a dance as old as the stars. As we approach the well, the silence around us deepens, and the air grows still, as though the very earth is waiting. The moonlight falls in soft beams, casting a silvery glow over the water, and for a moment the well seems to shimmer with an ethereal light. There is something almost otherworldly about this place, as though it is not just a physical structure, but a doorway to something beyond, a connection to a realm that is not bound by the rules of time or space, a space where answers are whispered by the winds, carried on the currents of the earth. It is said that the well was once a place of great power, used by those who sought to connect with the divine, to commune with the spirits of the earth and the heavens. Those who stood at its edge were not simply looking for answers to worldly questions, but for a deeper understanding, a connection to something beyond the material world, something eternal. And though the well is no longer in use, its power, its presence, still lingers in the air, in the earth, in the stillness of the night. As we stand before the well, the wind picks up, rustling the leaves in the trees around us, carrying with it the faintest whisper, as though the well itself is calling to us, inviting us to listen. The water in the well is still, but the air around it hums with energy, as though the earth itself is alive with ancient knowledge. It is said that the well holds not just the memory of the earth, but the memory of all who have come before, their hopes, their dreams, their prayers, all whispered into the depths, where they are held in the stillness, waiting for the right moment to rise again. Perhaps the well does not offer answers, but only the space in which to seek them. Perhaps it is not the water that holds the wisdom, but the act of looking into its depths, of gazing into the unknown, and finding the courage to ask the questions that lie hidden beneath the surface. The well does not speak, but in its silence, it invites us to listen to the whispers of the earth, to listen to the pulse of the world, to listen to the quiet rhythm that binds all things together. As the night deepens, the moon rises higher in the sky, casting its light over the valley, and the well becomes one with the shadows, its depths lost in the dark. The stillness remains, though, as though the world is holding its breath, waiting for something, waiting for us to find the courage to ask the questions, to listen for the answers that lie just beyond the veil of the earth. Perhaps the well does not hold the truth, but it holds the potential for truth, a space where the mysteries of the world can be explored, where the answers we seek are not found through force, but through quiet contemplation, through a willingness to listen, to wait, to trust in the unknown. And so, as we stand before the well, we are left with a question, not one that can be answered with words, but one that can only be felt in the quiet space between breaths. Perhaps the well is not a place of answers, but a place of connection, a place where we can touch the divine, where we can sense the pulse of the earth, where we can hear the whispers of those who have come before. Perhaps it is not the well that holds the answers, but the journey itself, the journey into the depths, into the unknown, into the space where the sacred and the mortal meet. As we turn to leave, the well remains behind us, its still waters reflecting the moon's pale light, its secrets held in the silence of the night. The earth beneath our feet hums with quiet energy, as though the well has shared its knowledge with us in ways we cannot fully understand. And as we walk away, we carry with us the quiet knowledge that some mysteries are never meant to be solved, only experienced, only felt, only heard in the spaces between the world and the silence.